The men of our village never marry the women they grow up with, not the ones who reach maturity here in Blackwood Hollow. No, the local girls are cleansed, wrapped in a blanket, and offered to the serpent. The morning after, if a girl is found to be carrying, she is deemed blessed by the elder serpent. She becomes the vessel, a kind of holy mother, and is sheltered and fed until the birth. Tonight, it was my sister's turn. She had been sent into the chapel. I was sick with envy that she was a year older than me, a year closer to this twisted form of grace. I crept into the chapel, wriggling under the offering table, determined to ruin her chance. But moments later, the scene I witnessed was far more terrifying than anything I could have planned. A mass of sleek, oily black serpents were sliding and writhing, vying to get to my sister. In the dim candlelight, my sister Sharon's skin glowed, a pale, shocking white like fine alabaster. I truly hated her to the point of sickness. She wasn't even prettier than me, but simply because she was born a year earlier, she was blessed with the first chance to serve the serpent. The thought made my teeth ache with fury. When the serpent came, and they were in the midst of their ritual, I would emerge. I would interrupt them. There was no way I'd let Sharon get away with becoming the vessel and living a life of soft luxury. Then, from the stillness of the chapel, Sharon's whisper drifted toward me. Mama said to keep my legs clamped tight, tighter than anything. That way, the serpent will favor me, and I'll be the most honored vessel the Hollow has ever seen. A wild, ugly resentment flared up in my chest. Mama was so unfair. She always kept the best things for Sharon. Now, even this secret trick, this vile piece of advice for winning the serpent's favor, she'd only told Sharon. I trembled with rage, but a small, malicious part of me also celebrated. At least now I knew the trick. When my turn came, I would clamp my legs too. I would steal the favor from under Sharon's pale nose. Sharon carefully extended her legs from the edge of the ritual blanket. They were long and impossibly white, shining faintly in the gloom, like peeled eggs. The serpent would certainly love those legs. My hatred intensified. I dug my fingernails into the dirt floor beneath the altar, wishing I could rush out with an axe and chop her legs off right there. If she was maimed, how would she clamp them? How would she entice the elder serpent then? A scraping noise suddenly echoed from above, the sound of rough scales dragging against old wood. I peered toward the sound. A black snake, thicker than a grown man's thigh, with a forked scarlet tongue flickering, was slowly descending from the rafters. My eyes widened, and my body went cold. I had always assumed the serpent was a god, a deity that took human form, not a monster of scale and muscle. Sharon was obviously terrified. She was shaking. Get away from me!" she shrieked, scrambling to pull her legs back, cinching the red ritual blanket around herself until she resembled a terrified cocoon. But the giant black snake seemed to possess an intelligence. Its enormous tail followed the winding path of its body, gliding across the floor, heading straight for my sister's feet. The scene was horrifying, but a sick rush of pleasure washed over me. That snake was thicker than a man's leg. It would surely crush her. The thought of her dying a tortured death filled me with a twisted joy. I always thought I was the better-looking sister, but everyone in the Hollow said Sharon was the more luminous. They whispered that her slight build meant she was destined to be the vessel. Even Jake, the elder's son, the future elder, was smitten with her. Jake once declared publicly, "If the serpent ever turns down Sharon, I'll marry her myself." I thought my chest would split open from the jealousy when I heard that. My first ambition was always to become the revered vessel, worshipped by the entire village. If that failed, my second choice was to marry Jake and become the future elder's wife. But that bitch, Sharon, she was blocking both my paths. Ah! Ah! Sharon's screams were sharp, tearing through the quiet chapel. I risked a look through a gap in the altar cloth. The blanket was gone. Sharon's body was covered in a shifting, thick layer of black snakes. I couldn't see